In 2021, one NA Pepega sought to infiltrate the EU region, rob them of their IO scores, and walk away with a cool Keystone Masters achievement. This is his story. Yo, welcome to episode 2 of the EU Infiltration. Today, we have actually a pretty decent amount of stuff to talk about that has gone on just with the series, how it's progressed so far. And we also have, I would say one of the funniest moments probably that we've seen so far with the series inside of one of the Halls of Atonements that I ended up getting in the last episode. Yeah, so, I mean, I've been playing this character a decent amount recently. We're starting to continue to progress our gear, making sure that we get things. And there's a lot that's going on in this video that's just transitional stuff. It's just really important for me to continue to grind through some of the stuff. Eventually we will get to more dungeon focused episodes later on in the series, talking about the struggles and the tips that we make along the way. But in the meantime, I have to absolutely grind through, like you see on the screen right here. I don't have anybody supplying me gold on EU, and I don't want anybody to. Like, honestly, I'd rather do it myself. So I'm having to sit out here and farm these like mobs, and I have tailoring, so I'm able to collect a lot of cloth, so then I'm able to sell the cloth on the auction house and actually get gold. And then once I get this gold, then I'm able to buy legendaries. I'm not using any consumables at all during this. This shit's already bad enough. I don't think that I'm going to try to farm out enough gold to purchase consumables. Just making sure that I do have like a rank 3 legendary whenever I have enough soul ash for it, though. That is something that I do really, really want. And speaking of rank 3 legendaries, in the last episode, maybe it was the episode prior, maybe it was the pilot, we did get the Balance of All Things pattern. We didn't have enough soul ash to be able to craft it at the time. However, with more lockouts, I got more and more soul ash, right? I was able to finally get through layer 8 of Torghast at some point. And then once that ended up happening, as you can see on screen, I end up killing one of the final bosses of the Torghast layer. And then I make my way to the Rune Carver himself. Once I'm at the Rune Carver, I craft Balance of All Things. I craft it with the Haste and Mastery missives. Get my first legendary, 190 item level. This legendary will probably last me until I have to buy rank 3, because currently on my realm, the legendary at 235, it looked like it was about 60,000 gold. And yeah, so that's definitely going to take a little while to grind up. It'll also take me a little while to grind the extra like 4,000 or so soul ash that I do need to be able to craft that as well. But in the meantime, that doesn't stop me from being able to get gear. So after being well equipped with my 190 legendary, I take my talents to LFG to run my Halls of Atonement +4. It was still bolstering in this week, so that's something that you have to really worry about, especially whenever you're getting people that you're not familiar with out of LFG. It's like, okay, I think that I'm pretty well aware that we're just going to bolster the crap out of some of these mobs, that this may not be the easiest of tasks for me to entail. However, I do believe that this shouldn't be too arduous of a journey to be able to time this key, at least so I can get some more loot. And that's basically what we're in it for. We're in it to try to grind out loot. Since we're kind of locked on our renown, we're waiting. We actually got stuck at renown 17 because we were just waiting on either renown catch up, or we're potentially waiting on things like more world quests or callings that give you renown catch up, like that kind of thing, because at that point we couldn't even progress our campaign without being renowned 17 first. So we get walled a little bit there. We have to take it a little bit slower. Of course, renown and the gear that we get from there is going to be our biggest source of early gearing, because you're able to upgrade all of your renown gear with anima, right? So upgrading the renowned gear to anima, I think you can get it to like 195 item level, and that's going to be a really important stepping stone point for me to be able to get gear without, I don't know, running hundreds of hours of +4s, which is like not the most feasible thing. Of course, they've nerfed gearing a lot in this expansion. Sure, I could wait for the Great Vault to kind of catch me up, but in the meantime, I can absolutely do my part in terms of like getting my renowned stuff. At some point, I'll be able to arena at an okay level. We actually dip our toes in the arena a little bit later on in this episode after the Halls of Atonement goes so well. After the Halls of Atonement goes so well, but it's definitely one of those things that is really difficult to do whenever you're under geared. At some point, you end up having to fight people who are 215 item level that are either getting boosted or like, or potentially just are 215 item level and for some reason at 1600 rating, and they just one hit you with their abilities, and you just sit there and you're like, well, I don't really know what to say about that. And so PvP is definitely something that I want to do. However, it's not something that I can dip my toes into until my gear is appropriately ready. But something that we absolutely can do is this Halls of Atonement +4. So we've gathered up our heroes of LFG, a Protection Paladin, a Windwalker Monk, an MM Hunter, and a Restoration Shaman. Somehow ending up with a really meta composition. I guess it's probably due to people trying to reroll the stuff that's more flavor of the month, if I had to assume. Kind of weird that that's what I ended up with out of LFG, but that's just how the cookie crumbles, right? It's just one of those things. People are rerolling to more meta stuff, and so thus you get more meta stuff and a prop paladin. All right, so we take our heroes of LFG, we enter into the Halls of Atonement, and the first couple of pulls, I'll be honest, they're kind of rough. We're bolstering mobs. Not everything is going well. But honestly, we're just here for the loot. We don't really care about timing the key in a quick manner. We're just here to obtain that loot. And so, unfortunately, something happens on the second pull of the instance. We're pulled to Shard of Halkias. The tank, I don't know what happens to him, but he gets logged out of the game and immediately leaves the group. I don't really know what happens, but let's listen in to see what I say. Why did our tank leave? I'm so confused. All right, we go 3. All right, we zone out and we go +3. No, they weren't from Kazakh, they were from some realm that I don't know to say. Game Crush? Yo, you want to invite, bro? You want to stay in this fucking group? Oh, he's back. So with the sweet talking, somehow the tank leaves the party, and then we got him to rejoin in a really questionable series of events. We somehow not even convince him, but he just is sitting out in front of the instance whenever I'm walking out, and I see him and he says something in Say Chat, and I turn around and I'm like, does he want to join back? And I invite him again, and we continue on in our dungeon with our tank equipped. Honestly, it's not going that great, but whenever we have 5 people in the dungeon, I'm not too upset. We may or may not wipe to this Shard of Halkias. And by may or may not, we're definitely wiping to the Shard of Halkias. He's double bolstered. I'm dying to the Siphon Life. But honestly, my spirits are at an all-time high because, you know what? I didn't realize how low we could go until the tank actually just left the group, and then I was like, oh man, are we gonna have to go +3, or are we gonna have to actually drop the key again? And then with actually getting our tank back, I feel like we're on top of the world. We can do anything. So after our wipe to Halkias, the Shard, not the boss, we gear up and begin to pull again. This time, taking it a little bit slower, trying to not bolster the mini-boss 3 times before taking all of the thrashes to the face. Of course, I could outrange it, but I feel like I shouldn't have to. Maybe that's very foolish of me. Now, here we are. We're able to actually not bolster him to death and make our way through the instance. So we make our way through the instance. And honestly, it could be going better. We have some more problems later on as well. We are trying to skip to Echelon like you do in a normal route, and we're trying to figure out how we want to make it there. Because, as you can see on screen, there are these patrolling ambusher mobs. And so, you know what? Our tank decides that we should just pull all of these gargoyles and these reavers and stuff here. But what he doesn't realize is that his Avenger Shield is about to bounce and literally pull the whole entire pack. And then somehow, we also get the patrolling reaver small mobs as well. And so, once this happened, our tank instantly gets killed, and we're wiping again. However, the key is low enough level where it doesn't really matter. Again, we still have the tank in the party. I literally could not care less as long as we time the key, get the extra piece of loot that we get out of here, and honestly, I don't even care if we time the key. I just want to complete the dungeon. At this point, my goals have changed. However, my goals again change as I encounter the wretched instant server lag. So I've been told about this before by people that I know who play on the European realms, and I never really understood what they meant whenever they say, quote, my server is a barbecue grill. And I'm sitting there thinking, what does that even mean? They're like, my instant servers, or our instant servers just lag all the time. Our servers are always super laggy. And I'm like, why? And I always just assumed it was similar to like Tichondrius or Illidan or whatever. And it's just like, oh, they're only lagging at peak hours and stuff like that. No, dude, this realm was actually lagging just in the middle of the day, EU times. And there was just like terrible instant server lag throughout the rest of this video, where I feel just awful. It's incredibly difficult to play, and at some point I'm like, I don't even care anymore. Just get me out of this dungeon right now. I am so tired of having 600 millisecond delay after every single cast. I am very, very frustrated at this point. So I'm no longer my spirits are no longer high. I just want out. This is the real pug experience right here. Trying to get through the dungeon, to be so selfish because I just want my shitty pieces of loot. And you know what? We make it to Lord Chamberlain, and let's have a listen into the end of Lord Chamberlain and see what happens here. We got this. Let's fucking go. The tank calls for max damage. Oh god, I gotta res him. I'm resing. I got you, bro. Oh, please, God, give me a weapon. Any weapon. Oh. Woo! Let's fucking go! Get me out of this laggy ass instance! No gear. My plate was for naught. Yo, do you need that? Oh, that's. You need that ring, bro? Alright, so, yep, our plight is for naught, as I said. We are incredibly upset. No gear was acquired throughout the whole entire run of that. That was a very difficult run through an incredibly laggy instance to just not get any gear. Very unfortunate circumstances, I will admit. Not exactly the happiest I've ever been with it, but it is what it is. I'm glad that we were able to actually finish off the run. You know, you gotta take your victories as you see them. So we'll classify that one in the at least we finished the key. At least we timed the key column. And at that point, I decided that I don't really want to run another key. I think I'm keyed out after having experienced that tank and that laggy instance. I'd rather go do some arena, see what it's like at 161 item level. Like I alluded to earlier. And arenaing at 161 item level is definitely a really bad idea. I didn't realize it at the time, but I could channel a full Convoke all the way into both party members of the enemy team, and they're not going to die. My damage is like so low that I realized that it's not happening. I got 1v2'd by a Shadow Priest at some point. I realized that there's no chance in hell that I'm going to be able to arena on this rat character. And so once that happens, I realize that I'm done for the day. I got to wait a little bit longer to be able to catch him on Renown. I gotta wait for my Great Vault. I gotta wait for some other stuff for me, for it to come out, and for me to be able to continue to progress my gear. And we will make our way downtown, walking fast, faces past, and I'm homebound. And I will see you guys in the next episode. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and goodbye. Later.